Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Knit with Fee. I'm Fee and this is where I share my knitting hobby with you. So thank you so much for clicking on the video. I really hope that you enjoy it and you get something useful out of it. And if you do, consider giving it a like, and if you'd like to see more like this, then please do subscribe so you can be notified when more videos like this come out, and that would be brilliant. So this is an interesting one today. This is my spring knitting plans video. So I'm going to talk you through what I'm making at the moment, seeing as spring is finally here, and also what I'd like to make next during spring, and then a little bit more sort of airy-fairy dream things that, if I've got time, are next on the list and I'd really like to have a go at, but chances are it probably won't be till summer that I get there. I also want to talk at the end a little bit more generally about my plans for the future and what I'm excited about. So the first bit will be specific patterns and possibly yarns and things like that. But the last bit will be more about things I'd like to learn this year, things I'd like to try this year, types of yarns I'd like to try, types of knitting I'd like to try, that sort of thing. So stick around to the end to see that. In order to help me with this video, I've created a bit of a diagram just for me to put all my thoughts down on and sort of know where I'm at, what I'm doing, if I've got a pattern but not a yarn, if I've got a yarn but not a pattern, that sort of thing. So I will talk you through that now. Hiya, I just wanted to let you know what I'm wearing because I forgot to film it, so I'll slip this in somewhere, make it look like I remembered. But I'm wearing the Step by Step sweater by Florence Miller, and it's with Drops Air. It's in the colour Crimson Red. And yeah, it's nice. It knitted up a lot smaller than I thought, I think because I used such a lighter yarn than recommended, but blocking, I managed to stretch out quite a lot in blocking, and so yeah, it fits now. But if I were to do it again, I would make it bigger. I also would prefer extra short rows because I find it rides up here. I did do the version with short rows, but there's still not a lot of them. So this is my spring knitting plans. I split it up into categories. So I've split it into current things I am already knitting. Then I had to think about firm plans, what I definitely would like to do this spring, unless something throws a spanner in the works, which sometimes does happen. And then more loose plans for things I'd like to do, but may not make it into my knitting plans until summer. So let's start with current things that I'm knitting, because it is already spring and it's really exciting because around here it is has finally got some sun. Not today, but we've had a lot of sun over the last 2 weeks, which is really lovely because we have had a incredibly grey winter this year, so really chuffed that the weather is improving. Right, I'm going to go round left to right to talk about what I'm already working on. The first thing I'm working on is the Katia sock. So this is with yarn called Concept by Katia, that's right, and it's the Ilta line. It's just a vanilla sock, and I talked about it in my previous video. The next sock I am working on at the moment, and in fact I just finished it last night, is the Casa Sol sock. So it's using Casa Sol sock yarn that was gifted to me. It's a ribbed sock, which I don't actually like for this yarn, so were I to do it again, I would just do a vanilla sock to really show off the colour changes in this yarn. But I'm really excited that that is done, so I can move on to another sock pattern very soon. The next pattern I am working on is the terracotta sweater. This is a gift knit for my husband, so he bought the yarn for it and we shared the price of the pattern. And I'm making it for him. I'm making a size small/medium for him, although I have made the armholes slightly larger than that. But yes, Terracotta Sweater by Ellie Knit. I have gotten through. The body is now joined together, but I've not started on the sleeves yet. So I've probably got another couple of weeks left on that one. Then for me, I am knitting the Ingrid sweater. I'm most of the way through the first sleeve for this one, so I'm a little bit ahead. I knitted the body down to when I ran out of yarn, and then I picked up the sleeve. I'm a bit worried that this one's going to be quite small, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I'm showing you there where on the sleeve I'm up to. I'm going to knit both sleeves, but minus the cuff, and then I am going to block it to see if it grows, because at the moment it seems quite small. I'm doing this with Drops Lima and Drops Kid Silk Mohair, so 2 strands held together. I'm not going to do the neck. I'm going to do a folded collar on the neck instead. And I'm making a size small, which we shall see if I should have gone up to a medium. But I'm not sure about blocking. I'm really enjoying having the different patterns on, in fact, in both of these sweaters. I'm really liking having textured patterns and some colour work in the terracotta sweater. I've not done textured patterns before, so that's one of the things I was really excited about doing this year. And the final thing I'm working on at the moment is the pie camisole. This properly is a spring knit. I'm really excited about it. Oh, I forgot to put the name of the colour. I don't know the name of the colour actually, but it's this deep red colour, which is really lovely. It's got silk in it, so it's got a sheen to it. And I'm really excited about this one, although I'm a bit nervous because I've done the sides of the edging and I just need to pick up stitches to do the neckline. I've not finished the body yet. I'm going to carry on with that once the neckline's done. However, I'm a little bit nervous about the neckline. It seems quite fiddly picking it up. And so I've kind of been putting that off because I'm a bit nervous about doing that. But yeah, I just need to get on. As soon as I've cast on and started knitting, it'll be absolutely fine. It's the casting on and joining the bits where you have to pick up stitches, joined with the bits where you have to create new stitches, which will be interesting. And yeah, making the size small for this one. It is in fingering weight, so I am taking a while to do it. So those are all my current knits, things I'm working on at the moment. But the next section is things I have firm plans to do during this spring period. So the first thing I would like to make, the next jumper I'd like to make once I finish my Ingrid, is this Doppio jumper by Seung Hee Hong. I'm quite looking forward to making this because it has a compound raglan, which I'd really like to try. I've made a few raglans, and simple raglans tend to bunch up for me on the sleeves, so I'd really like to give a compound raglan a go. I also have been really wanting to knit a jumper with this wool Snefnug by Camarose, and so yeah, I'm really excited to be able to do that. I've not bought the pattern yet, I've not bought the yarn yet, but I would really like to make this in the very near future, and I do have plans, and I have got some money set aside in order to buy those things very soon. The next one I'd like to make is a jumper for my daughter. So she's asked me to make a jumper, and initially it was one, like a textured one, that she wanted me to make with a little bit like the Ingrid, but just yesterday she said no, she wanted something more like this one here. She really wants a very, very cropped jumper with bell sleeves. The closest I could find in knitting was this one by Igo Knit, but I think what she really would like is the picture on the right. That's not a knitting pattern, that's just a picture offline to represent, you know, the kind of thing she wants. So I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to knit or crochet it. It'll probably have to be my own design. And I will probably end up just doing rectangles and then seaming them up for simplicity, because I don't have a pattern to follow for that one. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. So that's kind of thrown a bit of a spanner in the works, because I did tell her I'd make something. But yeah, trying to make something without a pattern, possibly in crochet, which I'm not great at, will be interesting. The next thing I want to make is this perfect knit t-shirt. So this is proper spring fair. I already have the yarn for this. It's 100% bamboo or rayon yarn by Lion Brand in the colour mauve, and I have 4 balls of this. So yeah, I've got the yarn, the pattern's free on a blog by Caitlin Barthold. So yeah, ready to get started. It'll be interesting because it'll be a lot of knitting, I think, for something quite plain. So whether I'll get a little bit bored, I'm not sure, but I'd really like to give it a go. And it does look to be a really nice drapey t-shirt, and I'd really like to see what the 100% bamboo ends up coming out like. It's very shiny. It's got a really nice sheen to it. The next thing I'd like to make is a pair of socks for my mum. So I went down and visited them last week and showed them this yarn. It's the same yarn that I'm using for my Katia sock. And she really loved the colour, she really loved the yarn. And she tried on my sock as well, and it fit her, so I've got a much better idea of size. I think if I knit it as if it were for me, then I think that it would fit her fine, so that's great to know. The only difference is that I prefer ankle socks and she wants longer ones, so I'll have to make it noticeably longer than mine. The next sock I'd like to make, this one's for me, and I've been really wanting to learn lace work and cable work, and so I thought socks are small, hopefully it'll be a little bit simpler on a sock than on something bigger. So I am really looking forward to making a lace sock. It'll probably be one of the patterns from Summerlee's sock book, which is called The Sock Project, because I already have that book and she does have some lace patterns in there. So I will probably go about using one of those. However, I have been lent a book with some sock knitting patterns from a friend at a knitting group. So I might look through those, see if there's any there that I like. But I think it's more likely to be Summerlee's sock book. I already have the yarn for this. I bought it a few weeks ago. It's in the colour beige, and yeah, it's by Signet. The next thing I would like to make is a pair of socks for my dad. So he has chosen the yarn he likes. He really likes this yarn in the colour punk, and he wants thicker socks to wear around the house and in bed, so I'm going to make him some DK socks. I've never made DK socks before, and I've never knitted socks for my dad before, who has very different size feet to me, so I'm a little bit nervous about this, getting the size right and everything. But yeah, it'll be good to give it a go and see how I do. So these are the things I really would like to make in the next few months. My current knitting plans are probably going to take me through till at least mid-April, so I'll have a month and a bit to get going on some of these. So it's unlikely that I'll get to any of these loose plans, but these are the things on my list that I'd really like to do if I've got time. I'll start with Helia by Joanna Ang. This jumper, I just really love this jumper. It's got this really lovely cable work around the sleeve, but then a really sort of plain, clean body, which I really, really like. It's just beautiful. I've not got the yarn, I've not got the pattern, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. So I'd really love to make that. The next one is the big chain top. So I really love the detailing around the neck for this one. It's a very summer style top, and it's the kind of top I think you could use linen blend yarns and cotton blend yarns and things like that, which I'm really keen to try. And so yeah, this is a top that I'd really like to make. I'm not sure what yarn I would do it in. I think Drops Bell is a tempting one. Possibly Drops Cotton Merino, although I may save Drops Cotton Merino for the next pattern on the list. But yeah, I'm not sure, because the colour of Drops Cotton Merino I'd really like to work with. I think it's called Parrot. It's like two green yarns blended together. However, the next top that I would like to make on the list, which is the Fausta, I've seen some yarn recently. It's a merino yarn that is this really lovely green that I'd like to try with the Fausta, and so having two Fausta tops both in green might be a little bit much, which is why I thought Drops Cotton Merino, possibly the big chain top instead. But yeah, but I do think Drops Bell seems to match it better with the linen blend in there. The Fausta, I've made this really recently. I made it in a black colour, and it was a bamboo cotton blend, and I'd really like to make this top again, but in merino yarn. So yeah, that's another one that I'd really be keen to make again. It's a real classic. The next one, this one is the Sarah top, and I just think it's absolutely beautiful. So I went shopping recently, not too recently, about a month ago, and in one of the shops that I went into, they had a top a lot like this. I think it was in a dark blue colour, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it really suited me, but the sleeves were the straps were way too long for me. So yeah, the top just hung too low, which I wasn't super keen on. So I thought, oh, I'm sure I could knit one myself, and I found this pattern, which I think is really lovely. I think it's reversible as well, which is really nice. So that's one I'd like to try. The next one, this has been on my list for ages. I really want to make a sort of transparent long sleeved shirt to go over the top of a tank top, that kind of thing. I think that'll look really lovely, especially in a really bright colour when you've got like a black tank top underneath. So that's what I've been really keen to do. I think this pattern's probably the closest to what I could find. I would probably just use one strand of mohair for it to make it a little bit more transparent. But yeah, I'd be really keen to have a go at making this top. And I think it's a great thing that you could wear in the summer, where, you know, it's really loose and open gauge. But if there's just a little bit of, you know, wind or something like that, you can kind of cover up with it. I'd really like to make it with Fibre Space Cumulus. However, I don't like any of the colours for this particular idea I've got in my head. So I may end up using a different yarn and saving the Fibre Space Cumulus for pairing with another yarn in a different jumper with a different colour. The next one, this one is one that's come to my attention recently that I just think is absolutely beautiful, and I think it's a great pattern that is like a jumper but not too thick jumper. So I'd be really keen to make that, but I've not got the pattern or the yarn or anything like that for it yet. And finally, the Esther sweater. This one I do have the pattern for. I bought it a while back, so I am really keen to get making on it, and I do like the pattern, but I don't have the yarn for it yet, and I don't know what yarn I want to use yet. So that will be interesting. So those are all the things I would like to make this spring. It'll be interesting to see how far I get, and which ones I do and don't end up doing. There's some things still up in the air, and some things that I'm keen on it's difficult sometimes deciding, do I knit something that I'm really excited about, but it means buying more yarn or buying a new pattern, or if I've already got a pattern and the yarn for it, maybe I should do that one. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it takes me and what I decide to do next once I have finished my current stuff. But like I say, I think it'll be another couple of months before I finish all my current stuff. So yeah, we'll see how much I get done. Right, so this is more just general what I'm really looking forward to this year, or what I'd really like to do this year. So I was thinking sort of what would my aims be for this year, and they ended up coming into three different categories. So that's why I've split this up into 3 different categories. There's a bunch of different types of yarn that I've never worked with that I was really keen to be able to work with. So that's one of them, is types of yarns that I'm really interested in trying. Also, there's types of clothing or types of knits, which I've called category here, things I'd like to make that I've not made yet. And then also things I'd like to learn, techniques that I'd like to learn that I've not done before. So that's how I've split this up. So for category, I have underlined the ones that I think I will manage to do this spring. And the colours are if I've already done it. So the summer top I've already done now. If it's yellow, I've already used it, but I'd like to use it more. So that's what the colours are. So cardigan and summer top I'd really like to make over the spring-summer period. Beanies, scarves, cowls and mittens I'd really like to make, but I'm not going to need it now, I think, until next winter. So probably won't be until then. The yarn knitting for Olive, I've heard so much about it and I've not knit with it yet. That would be great. Drops Cotton Merino I'd be really keen to work with, and Drops Bell, and they're very summery yarns, so I think I will get to work with them this year, which is good. Sandner's Garn, I'd really like to work with some of their yarns. I have done with one yarn, the Alpaca Folgetrad, but I'd be really interested in working with some of their other yarns as well. Cumulus by Fiberspace I've mentioned already. Snefnug Camarose I've mentioned already. I have already made a hood with it. And then hand-dyed yarns I would really like to work with at some point. Probably socks to start with anyway. And then Isaiah, I'd really like to try out some of their yarns. In terms of techniques, I'd really like to learn how to do lace and cabling. I've not done that yet. So that's quite exciting, and I think I'll start with socks for those. I'd like to learn how to brioche. I'd really like to do some brioche knitting because I've heard about it. And I'd be really interested in colourwork knitting that's not stranded colourwork, so things like intarsia and mosaic knitting. I'd really like to give those a try at some point. Probably not anytime soon, but yeah, I'd like to give them a try. And then something textured, which I'm doing now with both the Ingrid sweater and the terracotta sweater. So I'm working on those, but I would like to do some more. So yeah, that is all of my knitting plans for this time. Yeah, we'll have to come back at the end and see what I did and didn't do, what I managed to get to and what I ended up leaving, or if any of my plans changed over the course of spring, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, I noticed with that I've got quite a few jumpers on the line where I thought spring would be a lot of summer top knitting, and I am really keen on making, t-shirts and sleeveless tops and that kind of thing, so we'll see. I think the big thing is this pie camisole is taking me a while because it's fingering weight. I think the reason that I didn't do more than one at a time, I know I've got 2 jumpers on the go at the same time, but they're not both for me is part of it. And I think also the last few summer tops that I've looked at making, I've ended up using the same needles, so I can't make them both at the same time because I don't have enough needles in the same size. So that will be interesting to see if that ends up being a problem for me or not, and whether I end up just doing one summer top at a time or whether I cast on multiple ones in one go. because then I will be able to get more started, but whether I'll be able to get more finished or not sure. That is everything, I think. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'd love to know what your spring knitting plans are, so do leave a comment down below to let me know what you're up to or what you think of my knitting plans. If you've got any advice for me, that would be great. So yeah, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a really good day, and all the best till I see you again.